Again and again, I'm humble and I'm hawking it. That if you will today, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, follow me, yeah. Follow me, yeah. To the Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Friday, yeah. To the Saturday, then we go and keep it holy, we make it to the next day. Today, it's our hidden history. You can learn in short space, but the time's still running, don't let it waste. Yeah, you can learn with me, cause when I'm reading, oh, it's so amazing, it's so amazing. I flip the page, I see you written down again and again. I'm humble and I'm hawking it, that if you will today, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, follow me, yeah. Follow me, yeah, to the Saturday. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Friday, yeah, to the Saturday. Then we go and keep it holy, we make it to the next day. Do you know what today is? It's our hidden history. You can learn in short space, but the time's still running, don't let it waste. Yeah, you can learn with me, cause when I'm reading, oh, it's so amazing, it's so amazing. I flip the page, I see you written down again and again. I'm humble and I'm hawking it.
Hey, welcome back. Welcome back. I can't hear myself. I'm good. Oh, all right. Sorry. Hey, shalom, Most High Christ bless Israel. Welcome back to another episode of Our Hidden History. You're now tuned into
Our Hidden History radio show.
Hey, could y'all turn the headphones up a little bit? I really can't hear myself.
Yeah, me.
Maybe it's just my headphones. All right. Hey, so we're still dealing with the revolt. The revolt. It was also called the Kitos Wars. The Kitos Wars. Hey, let's bring that up. Go to Wikipedia. Let's type in Kitos Wars. We'll get right into it.
I'm talking about the diet.
Huh?
It's not talking about the
Nah,
diet.
I ain't talking about the diet. I ain't talking about the keto diet. It's called the Kitos Wars. All right? So this is the revolt that we had for those of us that was scattered in the north coast, in North Africa. All right? Read that.
The Kitos War, 115 to 117.
Uh-huh.
Rebellion of the diaspora was one of the major Jewish-Roman wars from 66 to 136.
Read.
The rebellions erupted in 115 when most of the Roman armies were fighting Trajan's Parthian War on the eastern border of the Roman Empire.
So you remember last show we went over Trajan. Who was Trajan? Okay, he's one of the emperors. Now, he wasn't of the 12, but I wanted to deal with him because I wanted to go into this revolt that we had. All right? It was a significant revolt that happened in history. All right? So with Trajan, remember, we dealt with the persecution. We were still being persecuted under Trajan. All right? We still being persecuted. We read the letters between him and Pliny. All right? Of how he was how he wanted to deal with those of us that were still preaching the gospel and so forth. Okay? Read that again.
The rebellions erupted in 115 when most of the Roman armies were fighting Trajan's Parthian War on the eastern border of the Roman Empire.
Right. So while Trajan was out fighting the Parthian War, which was the Persians, okay, in Iran today, we decided to erupt and cause an insurrection on the north coast of Africa. That's what was going on. So it's like we knew he's over there doing his campaigns, okay, fighting wars and so forth. Let's cause a rebellion. Let's rise up. This is the time. Right? Read on.
Major uprising by Jews in Cyrenaica, Cyprus, and Egypt spiraled out of control, resulting in a widespread slaughter of the remaining
Go down.
Of the remaining Roman garrisons and Roman citizens by Jewish rebels.
Read.
The Jewish rebellions were finally crushed by the Roman legions, chiefly by the Roman general Lucius Quietus.
So Lucius Quietus, we're going to get into who he was, all right? We're going to deal with him. Lucius Quietus. Remember that name, Lucius Quietus. He was a Roman general and a governor of Judea. He's a Roman general and a governor of Judea. Read on.
Whose nomen later gave the conflict its title, as Kitos is a later corruption of Quietus.
So Kitos come from Quietus. That's why it's called the Kitos Wars. Go read.
Some localities were left so utterly annihilated that Romans moved in to settle the areas to prevent their complete depopulation.
Read that again. Read that part again.
Some localities were left so utterly annihilated.
So we're going to go back into the pages of History of the Jews by Heinrich Graetz. Now, because when he says some of the localities were left so utterly annihilated, in those pages, we're going to get what he mean by it was annihilated. How many that we annihilated of Esau? Go ahead.
So utterly annihilated that Romans moved in to settle the areas to prevent their complete depopulation.
Yo, we almost annihilated all of Esau out of the areas of Cyrenaica, Egypt. Where else? Where are we? Go up. Go up.
Cyprus.
And Cyprus. All right? We almost annihilated Esau out of those areas. We took it over. We took it over for a short time, but we took it over. Go down. So to the point they had to repopulate the area. Okay, they had to repopulate, they had to rebuild it. Go ahead.
The Jewish leader Lucullus fled to Judea.
So we're going to deal with Lucullus too. We're going to deal with him, the Jewish leader Lucullus. Go ahead.
Marcius Turbo pursued him and sentenced to death the brothers Julian and Pappus, who had been key leaders in the rebellion.
Read on.
Lucius Quietus, the conqueror of the Jews in Mesopotamia, was now in command of the Roman army in Judea.
So he was in command of the Roman army in Judea, all right? What you would call a proconsul or a governor. Read.
And laid siege to Lydda, where the rebel Jews had gathered under the leadership of Julian and Pappus. Lydda was next taken, and many of the rebellious Jews were executed. The slain of Lydda are often mentioned in words of reverential praise in the Talmud. The rebel leaders Pappus and Julian were among those who were executed by the Romans that year.
Right. So you could take that down. Give me History of the Jews again. History of the Jews by Heinrich Graetz, Volume 2. All right. Put the page up. Yep. So this is the book History of the Jews. A lot of great information in here. A lot of great information by Heinrich Graetz. So a lot of things that we are reading from Wikipedia, he goes more in depth in these in his books. So six set volume. All right. What is it? I think 1896. This book was published. 1896. All right. Give me next page. Next page. I don't think I want that one. Nope. The pages that we read last week. I just want to recap. What did we read last week? 393. The pages was in the 300s. Yeah, it was like 393. Is that volume 2 or volume 1? Yep, that's it. Go to the next page. We're not going to read all of this. Let me see. Hold on. Yeah, start. Huh? Yeah, it's still volume 2. Go back. Start there. Let's go.
Nerva had chosen the Spaniard Eupanius Trajan as his successor. This emperor, who was nearly 60 years old, set about realizing his favorite idea of annexing the territories lying between the Euphrates and Tigris and the Indus and Ganges to the Roman Empire, so as to win laurels similar to those obtained by Alexander the Great. In the Parthian lands, he had an easy conquest, for this ancient kingdom, partly of Greek and partly of Persian origin, was torn asunder by the various pretenders to the throne, and offered but little resistance to the conqueror. Only the Jews, who lived in great numbers in this district under the leadership of the prince of the captivity, possessed a certain amount of independence and offered resistance to the Roman conqueror. The
prince of the captivity. All right, that's Esau. All right, prince of the captivity referring to Esau. Okay, go ahead.
The Babylonian Jews beheld in Trajan the descendant of those who had destroyed the temple.
Hey, let's get that real quick. The prince of the captivity. You know what I want? Satan first and foremost, but his children, Esau. Get Daniel 9. Let me see, Daniel 9. Daniel 9, 26. Yeah, Daniel 9, 26.
The book of Daniel, chapter 9 and verse 26. And after 62 weeks shall Messiah be cut off, but not for himself. And the people of the prince that shall come shall destroy the city and the sanctuary. And
so the people of the prince is Esau, so-called white man today. That's the people of the prince. The prince is referring to Satan. Okay, the people of the prince is referring to Satan's children. All right, read on.
And the end thereof shall be with a flood, and unto the end of the war desolations are determined.
Right, now give me John chapter 12 and 16. John 11, 16. You know what I'm looking for? I
not
have my new Bible. I ain't putting.
You're not talking about suffer violence.
Nah, the prince of the.
Okay.
You know what I want? It's not. I don't think it's Prince of the Air. Yeah, John 12:31. John 12:31.
The book of John, chapter 12 and verse 31. Now is the judgment of this world. Now shall the prince of this world be cast out.
So the prince of this world is Satan. The prince of this world, the devil himself, Satan, and his children. Give me John 11:16. No, 11:16. 16:11. 16:11. Yep. 16:11.
The book of John, chapter 16 and verse 11.
Read.
Of judgment, because the prince of this world.
Because who?
The prince of this world is judged.
So the prince of this world, the prince of this captivity, is talking about Satan and his children. All right? The prince of the people is Esau. Okay? All right, let's go back to the page.
Only Jews who lived in great numbers in this district under the leadership of the prince of the captivity possessed a certain amount of independence and offered resistance to the Roman conqueror.
Mm-hmm.
The Babylonian Jews beheld in Trajan the descendant of those who had destroyed the temple and condemned their brethren to miserable slavery and armed themselves as if for a holy war.
So we was getting ready to arm ourselves for a holy war. Go ahead.
The town of Nisibis, which had always possessed a numerous Jewish population.
Right, because we was everywhere. Okay, the diaspora, we were everywhere. Just like our people, we everywhere today. That's why we have the diaspora. Okay, so we are everywhere. Numerous populations we had back then, same today. All four corners of the earth, the Lord said he would scatter us, right? Go ahead.
The town of Nisibis, which had always possessed a numerous Jewish population,
Read.
displayed such obstinate resistance that it could be subdued only after a lengthy siege.
Mm-hmm.
The district of Abiadine, on the center branch of the Tigris, obeyed a ruler whose ancestors, scarcely a century before, had adopted Judaism.
Read. I think it said
Turn to the
Marsipus.
page.
It said Marsipus.
Marsipus, who was now on the throne of Abiadine, was perhaps also inclined towards Judaism.
Mm-hmm.
He fought bravely against Trajan, but was overcome by the Roman forces. Trajan, unlike any of his predecessors, witnessed after a very short space of time the glorious results of his campaign. Conquest seemed to have met him halfway. When he withdrew into his winter quarters in Antioch, 115 to 116,
Read.
in order to receive homage, the chief campaign was almost at an end.
Jump down. Start at not alone, the Babylonian Jews.
Not alone the Babylonian Jews, but also the Jews of Egypt, Cyrenaica, Libya, and those in the islands of Cyprus.
Wait. Go back to but hardly had Trajan. Yeah, right there. Yep.
But hardly had Trajan set out when the conquered people on the Twin Rivers revolted again.
So we was always revolting. So Trajan, he ain't even set out on his campaign yet, and we was already rising up, causing insurrections. Go ahead.
The Jews had a great share in this uprising. They spread anarchy through a great portion of the Roman Empire.
You see that? So we was spreading anarchy through the Roman Empire. Read.
Not alone the Babylonian Jews, but also the Jews of Egypt, Cyrenaica, Libya,
Read.
and those in the island of Cyprus were seized with the idea of shaking off the Roman yoke.
You see that? So we was rouse up everybody. Okay, so we said Cyrenaica says not only alone the Babylonian Jews, but also the Jews of Egypt, Cyrenaica, Libya, and those in the island of Cyprus were seized with the idea of shaking off the Roman yoke. Same thing that happened over here. With the Maroons, when they started rising up in the Caribbeans and so forth, they was trying to quell. It was many rebellions on the islands. It wasn't just a rebellion over here and not a rebellion on the other islands in the Caribbeans. We was rising up everywhere. Same thing. We was always doing this.
It's so much so that that's the reason J. Edgar Hoover said what he says.
Yeah.
The number one, what was it? The
number one threat
to
the
America
United States,
is Negro unity. And he's not just talking about Negro unity here in America. He's talking about throughout the world. Because if Negroes start rising up anywhere in the world, guess what? The other Negroes in other parts of the world are going to get that spirit on them to rise up. Just like the brothers in India with the Black Panther movement here.
Hey, bring that up. I was thinking of that, too.
It's the same thing. Because I'm reading up on history about Hispaniola.
Right.
And America made sure that any revolution that rose up in Hispaniola was quelled and shut down because they knew, like, if they have some kind of freedom down there, it's going to spread out throughout the Caribbean and it's going to come here to the United States and we're going to have a problem. So we got to make sure we shut that down.
Hey, you about to say something,
No,
officer? Hey, when you look at us throughout history, and I'm going to bring it up later, but remember, that's why the scripture said, were we homeborn slaves? We was always in slavery. And all of the captivities throughout history, we was always rebelling. All right, so that's how you knew who we were. We was always rebelling. You had, remember, Spartacus rebelled. You had Eunice that rebelled. Okay, now, because why? We were slaves in Rome and so forth. So wherever we were slaves or being oppressed, we rebelled. We caused insurrections. All right, read that.
The Black Power.
Blow it up.
The Black Power Revolution, also known as the Black Power Movement, 1970 Revolution,
Read.
Black Power Uprising, and February Revolution, was an attempt by a number of social elements, people and interest groups in Trinidad and Tobago to subvert the neo-colonial order held over from the days of British slavery and imperialism.
Now, there's another, we didn't want this one. There's one where we had it was a national uprising because the Black Panthers started over here, of course, with Judah, and then there were numerous Black Panther movements even in like Australia. See if you can find that one. There were Black Panther movements all over, man, not just here in America. We like popped it off for the whole world, for wherever we were scattered. Click on the International Black Panthers. Let me see what that's talking about. I don't think it's. Hey, go back in go back into Google and put in Black Panther movement in Australia. See what happens. Yep. Yeah, it wasn't just here in America. We started it because Judah rose up here first, and it sparked all the other tribes.
You want me to read?
Yeah, you can start at the American Black Panther Party.
The American Black Panther Party of Self-Defense influenced the development of a Black power consciousness among Australian Aborigines. Number one, in 1971, Aboriginal revolutionary scholar, political activist, and Black power activist Dennis Walker and Sam Watson co-founded the Australian Black Panther Party.
So you got to understand, it spread throughout the world. There's a Black Panther Party that was in Australia. All right, at the same time. Why? Because they was looking at us rising up here in America. Okay, so that sparked them. That put the spirit on all the tribes throughout the world to rise up. Read on.
And declared the BPP to be the vanguard for all depressed people. And in Australia, the Aboriginals are the most oppressed of all.
Go ahead.
The Australian Black Panther Party set up headquarters in Brisbane, the capital city of Queensland, with a small group of field marshals that included Indigenous activists Paul Coe, Gary Foley, Gary Williams, and Billy Craigie. There was only 10 members of the Australian Black Panther Party. This Australian chapter of the Black Panther Party adapted the politics and militant style of the American Black Panther Party.
You see that? Judah set the trend right here in America. Judah set the trend here in America. Everybody else followed. Everybody else followed. Read that again.
This Australian chapter of the Black Panther Party adapted the politics and militant style of the American Black Panther Party to address issues affecting Aboriginal people and make demands for equality of treatment in education, health, and legal representation, the abolition of discriminatory legislation, an end to police harassment, and the simple right to live without racism.
You see that? So we we are scattered throughout the four corners of the earth, and we're suffering. We all suffering the same thing, going through the same oppression. Why? Because we all the same people. Okay? You was going to bring out something, Officer?
Officer, what you saying is basically what they fear is Zephaniah 2:1, where it says, gather together, O nation not desired.
Right.
Because if we gather together and all understand that we have a common threat or we all have that common struggle,
right,
then that also breeds more fear in our oppressors because, okay, damn, the majority, because they say we're the minority, but the majority of the people around the world now all see us as a threat, which is why they take so much time to hide the truth of us coming together in different times like this. I remember there was also during slavery, there was a man named John Horse, I believe. He was a slave.
Okay.
And he fled from a plantation with about 400 slaves, and he fled to the Seminole Indians. And when he got to the Seminole Indians, they gave them housing, guns to fight against the whites. Then the whites came against them, and they ran to the Mexican army. And they all fought against the white people.
Right.
So you hear that stuff, you're like, why would they hide that history? Because that's Negro unity.
Yeah, Negro unity. That's 12 tribes unity. They didn't want us to unite blacks and Hispanics. Once they seen that happening, they say, "Oh shoot, they rising up. They coming together."
Right. Hey, also remember we was talking. I think it was last week too about how in Ethiopia, is that how you say his name, Haile Selassie?
Yes.
When Italy was coming against Ethiopia, he called on the Tuskegee Airmen to fly over there and to fight for them. And the Tuskegee Airmen actually came over there and fought against Italy. So all that history, why are they hiding?
They hide that, man. They hiding it. They don't want us to know who we are, that we are great people upon the earth.
Right.
But they don't understand once the Black Panthers rose up, that set the precedent for all the tribes to rise up. Like you had the American AIM movement, you had the Brown Berets, you had
you got the Dalit,
the Young Lords. And the Dalit, somebody
Dalit Panthers.
Black Panthers.
Pull that up. I see somebody
Dalit
post that.
Panthers.
You even had the Dalit Panthers. Yo, bring that up.
That link.
So even our people over in India rose up. Read that. Can you pull it up?
Want to start just at the highlight?
Yep.
The Dalit.
No. The movement.
Yes, sir. The movement began when a growing number of young Dalit.
Stop. Notice, every movement, as we're going to read it in the history of the Jews, every movement, it was a fresh young legs that rose up. Why? Because the old men are done. They finished. Right. They don't have that spirit no more. So they instilled it into the young. They instilled that spirit into the young. We're going to read it again in history of the Jews. That's why it's a young Dalit. Go ahead. Just like the Black Panther movement over here, they were teenagers. Fred Hampton was how old? Fred Hampton was 21 years old when he was assassinated. They were young. Read.
The movement began when a growing number of young Dalits had access to improved educational facilities. Some of them had relatively stable employment. They became writers in what scholars have named the Little Magazine movement, which challenged the monopoly of high-caste Hindus and broadened anti-establishment literature to the masses through Marathi literary magazines. These writers created a new language through which Dalit resistance to power and oppression could become a public discourse and establish a trend for Dalit politics in which virtually every Dalit who could write did so before becoming an activist.
Go ahead.
The Dalit Panthers.
The Dalit Panthers. Damn. The Dalit Panthers. Go ahead.
Who were formally established in 1972.
Yo. So this is we remember the Black Panthers were established in the 60s, right? And then now, like I said, now you had the ones, those of us that was in Australia established themselves in 1971, and here you have the Dalit Panthers established themselves in 1972. So it was a trend that was going on. Go ahead. We was all rising up. We understood we had one common enemy, right, and that we was all being oppressed by that one common enemy. All right, go ahead.
Were also rooted in the Dalit literary movement and were deeply inspired by the Black Panther Party.
Deeply inspired by who?
The Black Panther Party.
So guess what? They were deeply inspired by Judah on this side in America. All right, inspired by Judah on this side in America. Read on.
The BPP's militant literature, community service, and political struggle was something that the Dalits were familiar with.
Why? Because we all being oppressed together. Read on.
An explicit ideological statement appeared in 1973, the Dalit Panthers Manifesto, which integrated Marxist views of exploitation with the caste critique of cultural oppression.
You see that? Read.
The manifesto confirms that the Panthers have recognized the revolutionary nature and aspiration of the masses. It equates Congress rule with Hindu feudalism. It calls for the redistribution of land and for the elimination of the Varna system, caste system, and class system. And it criticizes the opportunist politics of the parliamentarian left and the corruption and casteist politics of the Republican Party of India.
Right. That's why on Bishop Yawasop's Book of Our Fathers, when he brought out the one clip where the brother was saying how Malcolm X, when he went over to the UN, his whole thought process was to not make it a civil rights thing, to make it a human rights thing, because human rights is going to include all of us throughout the world that's scattered. That's what he wanted to do. It was going, and then it was going to be brought to a federal level, because if you made it just civil rights thing, that it just stay local. But he recognized that all of us throughout the world was going through the same oppression. Okay.
Hey, officer, mind if I bring up one more thing?
Yep.
Hey, look on the Telegram. I just posted an article. The article is called "Amid War, It's Time to Take a Position for the Oppressed." So this is an article talking about how India has to take a position on the war between Israel and Palestine. But there's something in the article concerning the Dalit Panthers. Can you go to the second screenshot? Because remember, a lot of the movements, the black movements that we talk about in history with Malcolm X or Martin Luther King, a lot of them use the Bible as their reference to say, okay, this as fuel. This is why we have to revolt. This is why we have to take a stand. The same thing happened in India. Read that.
Dr. Ambedkar had expressed his appreciation for Moses.
So Dr. Ambedkar was actually one of the founders of the Dalit Panthers in India. He expressed his appreciation for Moses. In India, he's like their Malcolm X.
Damn.
They quote everything that he says.
Okay.
So read on.
Drawing parallels to the Jews and Dalits.
What?
Drawing parallels to the Jews and Dalits.
So he said, damn, look, we going through that same persecution.
Hey, just like they did, that's us also. We all, just like the Jews being oppressed, we're going through the same thing. Go ahead.
He admired how Moses worked hard to unite the Jews, providing them leadership in times of extermination under Pharaoh.
Remember, Moses technically started a revolt. When he killed that Egyptian, they was like, yo, we got to get Moses.
Right.
Moses had to flee. So he said, look, the same way Moses tried to unite the Jews is the same way I'm trying to unite the Dalits. Go ahead.
Wow.
Moses, who argued for undertaking the thankless but noble task of leading Jews out of their captivity, was an inspiration to Ambedkar.
He read Moses like, damn, I'm just like Moses in this time.
Right.
Read on.
As Israelites followed their leader in desperation, but with hope, Ambedkar also saw himself as the Moses of his people.
As the what?
Moses of his people.
That's it, officer. He saw himself as a prophet in that time.
That's bad. That's bad. All praises.
You about to say something?
What was that music?
That was the Levite joint.
Oh, is that? All right.
Now, the underlying factor of the whole rest of the
Right.
tribes scattered throughout the four corners of the world.
Right.
If you don't mind, Officer, Deuteronomy chapter 33, verse 7.
Okay, bring it out. Man, Swarte Pete.
Got scriptures too. Not just Vikings.
Thank you, Officer. Thank you, sir.
Deuteronomy, you said Deuteronomy 32 and 7?
33.
Oh,
Oh, come on, Judah. You supposed to be Judah, right?
yeah, I'm here.
Burundi.
Say he Burundi.
I don't appreciate that, bro. The book of Deuteronomy,
Beyond the
chapter,
rivers of Ethiopia.
the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 33 and verse 7. And this is the blessing of Judah.
So when you read in Deuteronomy 33, you will see that the Lord, through the prophet Moses, gave each tribe different blessings. So this was the blessing that was given to Judah.
And he said, Hear, Lord, the voice of Judah.
So now back in the 60s, our voice was the civil rights movement trying to find identity, showing the oppression that was going on here in Babylon. And now all the rest of the tribes heard that same voice. Nowadays, we're now pushing the gospel. So now Judah is leading the charge, and all the rest of the tribes that are scattered throughout the four corners are listening to the voice of Judah. Read.
And bring him unto his people.
Because we started in Babylon, United States. Now we're going to different locations. We're hitting Italy. We're hitting India. We're hitting all these countries, South America. Everywhere that we're going, it started with Judah. Now we're just branching off. Right?
Let his hands be sufficient for him.
He says, let it be adequate. Let it be enough. For the time that we're doing, the gospel that's being pushed is enough just to get by. Read.
And be thou and help to him from his enemies.
Because we can't do it by ourselves. We need the Lord to protect us. That's why it says in Zechariah, not by might, not by strength, but my spirit, saith the Lord. So we need the Lord to help us out, to help push this gospel.
Right.
Hey, get Zechariah 12 and 7 real quick. It's like all the tribes, man. They wait for Judah, man. Go ahead.
The book of Zechariah, chapter 12 and verse 7.
Mm-hmm.
And the Lord also shall save the tents of Judah first, that the glory of the house of David and the glory of the inhabitants of Jerusalem do not magnify themselves against Judah.
Now, we understand that this is talking about the truth, just like with Deuteronomy 33. All right, let's go with Deuteronomy 33 and 7, just like the officer just brought out, that the Lord would save the tents of Judah first, and then the Lord will help Judah bring them unto his people. All right, but even outside of that, Judah was still rising up, even like on a without God's laws, without the commandments, without the Spirit of the Lord. Judah was still rising up first and putting that spirit on the other tribes. Okay, so Judah was that tribe. All right, that over here in America that will rise up first and put that spirit on the other tribes. All right.
And also, it's like that, the scripture in Corinthians 1 where it talks about how the Lord used the base things to confound the wise.
Right.
All of us are base things in the world, but Judah was destroyed the most out of everybody.
Bro, they oppressed us. Judah was oppressed more than any other tribe. I'm talking about even after slavery, they set up different laws, black codes, Jim Crow. There's a book. Matter of fact, let me see if I could bring it up. You go ahead.
So basically, like you're saying, officer, we was destroyed to a level that even the other tribes look down on us. The other tribes, they come over here like, why are these people so lazy? Look at the African Americans. Benjamin talks about Judah. Levi talks about Judah.
Right.
All the other tribes talk about them. But God said he raised up the base things and the weak things to confound the wise. So that scripture goes for all of us as Israel, before all the world. But also, it's specifically Judah as well, because they was the least of the 12 tribes. That thing is heavy.
Right.
Why are you looking for it? Let's get that.
Right.
1 Corinthians 1:26. Just let me know when you find it. You about to say something else? No. Oh, okay.
I reserve my thoughts.
Oh, because it ain't about Simeon.
No, not really.
1 Corinthians chapter 1 and verse 27.
1 Corinthians chapter 1, verse 27. But God hath chosen the foolish things of the world to confound the wise. And God have chosen the weak things of the world to confound the things which are mighty.
We as Israel as a whole are the foolish things. We're the weak things of the world to confound the wise. Like you read in Deuteronomy 28, it says, and ye shall have no might against your enemies. We have no military might. We have no economic might. So God says, you are the weak things of the world. We're the foolish things of the world. Black people don't even like to read. It's so much that our enemies said, all right, look, let me show you how dumb they are. We're going to put everything that we did against them, every history that we hid from them, in a book. I bet you they'll never find out. And the books are free. You can go into a library and pick up the book and read. But they know these people don't like to find knowledge. We've destroyed them so much that we told them they weren't allowed to read, but now they hate doing it themselves. Go on.
And base things of the world, and things which are despised.
That are what?
And things which are despised.
Remember, that's why it said in Zephaniah 2:1, gather together, O nation not desired. We're despised in every country, every nation where we go. That was the whole point of the Black Power movement that we were seeing, why every single nation where our people were scattered were rising up. In Ethiopia, when they were being oppressed. And in India, they were being oppressed. In the Caribbean islands, they were being oppressed. All these people were despised and said, wow, we're hated of every single nation there is. But God started raising up the different people in different parts of the world. Read on.
Hath God chosen, yea, and things which are not, to bring to naught things that are, that no flesh should glory in his presence.
The whole reason for this is that no flesh can glory in God's presence. Nobody can say, look, we as a nation already had enough power to overthrow the white man. We already had enough knowledge to find out our own history. No, it had to be by the Spirit of the Lord so everybody can know this is the God of Israel.
Right.
You got it, officer?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hey, pull that book up for me. Pull that book up. All right. Blow it up. Blow it up. Hit that. The 4 arrows right there. Hit the 4 arrows right here. Yes. Hit the clear search. All right, go to page 15. Okay, go ahead. Watch this. To back up what Officer Abaddon was saying, how we were more oppressed than any other tribe. Watch this.
Start at slavery.
Yep.
Slavery. The most perplexing question about American slavery.
Hey, hold on. Blow it up some more. I wish we could get this out the way. No, not like that. Hit the zoom in button.
You can't just download.
Yeah, can you download the book?
Download the file. You should be able to do it. Go back and
real quick. 1 second, Israel. And show the cover of the book. There's probably not an option for download.
Yeah, there is. That's how I get mine.
You mean to clear this?
It'll turn into a file.
Okay. That's all right. I just want to read it. You got it? Yeah, blow that up. Come on. All right. 1 second.
What's the name of the thing again?
Yeah, the Negro Family.
The Case for National Action.
All right, so this book is called The Negro Family, The Case for National Action, written in 1965. All right, 1965. Go down. Go to the page. I forgot. Yeah, blow that up. Read that.
The roots of the problem.
So the roots of the problem of the Negro family. The roots of the problem of the Negro family. Watch this.
Slavery.
So the first root of the problem is slavery. Go ahead.
The most perplexing question about American slavery which has never been altogether explained, and which indeed most Americans hardly know exists, has been stated by Nathan Glazer as follows. Why was American slavery the most awful the world has ever known?
So the question is, why was American slavery the most awful the world has ever known? Read.
The only thing that can be said with certainty is that this is true.
So it is true that American slavery was the worst. Go ahead.
It was. American slavery was profoundly different from and in its lasting effects on individuals and their children, indescribably worse than any recorded servitude, ancient or modern.
Damn. Go ahead. Damn.
The peculiar nature of American slavery was noted by Alexis de Tocqueville and others, but it was not until 1948 that Frank Tannenbaum, a South American specialist, pointed to the striking differences between Brazilian and American slavery.
So he made a comparison between slavery with Asher and slavery with Judah. Go ahead.
The feudal Catholic society of Brazil had a legal and religious tradition which accorded the slave a place as a human being in the hierarchy of society, a luckless, miserable place to be sure, but a place withal. And
so that's Asher, right? So he said the feudal Catholic society of Brazil had a legal and religious tradition which accorded the slave a place as a human being in the hierarchy of society. Okay, a luckless, miserable place still, but to be sure, but a place withal. Go ahead.
In contrast, there was nothing in the tradition of English law or Protestant theology which could accommodate to the fact of human bondage. The slaves were therefore reduced to the status of chattels.
So nonetheless, look, we were all slaves. Go ahead.
Often.
As chattel, read.
Often, no doubt, well cared for, even privileged chattels, but chattels nevertheless.
Watch this.
Glazer, also focusing on the Brazil-United States comparison, continues. In Brazil, the slave had many more rights than in the United States.
Read.
He could legally marry. He could indeed had to be baptized and become a member of the Catholic Church. His family could not be broken up for sale. And he had many days on which he could either rest or earn money to buy his freedom. The government encouraged manumission.
Read.
And the freedom of infants could often be purchased for a small sum at the baptismal font. In short, the Brazilian slave knew he was a man and that he differed in degree, not in kind, from his master.
So watch this now. Watch this.
Is that why Judah in the 60s had the signs, I am a man? They just found out?
Right. Now, understand, slavery and Asher slavery ended way after our emancipation. Their emancipation came in I think 1890 or somewhere. It was late 1800s. Okay, whereas slavery here in America, the emancipation was 1865. But even though he's saying all these things about Asher in Brazil, their slavery ended later. Emancipation was later, right? Watch this. Watch the slavery here in America. Watch what he says.
In the United States, the slave was totally removed from the protection of organized society. Compare the elaborate provisions for the protection of slaves in the Bible. His existence as a human being was given no recognition.
So Judah's existence as a human being was given no recognition. Read.
By any religious or secular agency.
That's why they say we're 3/5 of a man. We're the beast. Read.
He was totally ignorant of and completely cut off from his past.
So we was totally cut off from our past. That's Psalms 83. Yep. All the tribes is cut off from their past. Okay, they erased our name. So it will be no more remembrance, right? Go ahead.
And he was offered absolutely no hope for the future.
So they gave us no hope for the future. Read.
His children could be sold. His marriage was not recognized. His wife could be violated or sold.
Right. So our wives could be raped or sold. Read.
There was something comic about calling the woman with whom the master permitted him to live a wife. And he could also be subject, without redress, to frightful barbarities. There were presumably as many sadists among slave owners, men and women, as there are in other groups.
Read.
The slave could not, by law, be taught to read or write.
Uh-huh.
He cannot practice any religion
Read.
without the permission of his master, and could never meet with his fellows for religious or any other purposes, except...
So he look. And he could never meet with his fellows. We can't even do that today. Right. Same thing. We try to
butt
meet
in.
up. Huh?
They butt in all the time.
Yeah, they butt in all the time.
Yep.
What y'all talking about?
Yep.
What you Negroes talking about over here? So he could read that part again.
And could never meet with his fellows for religious or any other purposes except in the presence of a white.
There you go. Except in the presence of a white. Yo, they still got that same spirit.
That's because the white man knew the prophecy said, what it said in Deuteronomy, bring Judah to his brother. He said, he can't be around none of his brothers.
Right. Forget that. Even on the job, they Esau have such self-entitlement to butt into our conversations. They don't give a damn. They'll come sit amongst you.
And this goes along with what we stated last week about how we have to include the white man in our salvation.
Right.
Because of during slavery, if we didn't include the white man in any of our activities, it was
fear.
to death. Yeah,
It was fear. Yo, you know we can't. Yeah. You
How
know
about
we
the
can't
white
talk
man?
without the white man, right?
Right.
How about the white man? He gonna be saved?
He got the
How
one.
about master? How about master?
He got to come with us
Right.
because they was in everything we did. Read. You
And
got scripture?
The one you wanted. You said get that in Deuteronomy 33?
No.
Okay.
We already read that.
I thought you said get it. My fault.
Nah.
Oh, okay. Read it.
Yeah. All right.
We good.
read.
And finally, if a master wished to free him, every legal obstacle was used to thwart such an action.
Okay, read on.
This was not what slavery meant in the ancient world, in medieval and early modern Europe, or in Brazil and the West Indies.
So he said this was not what slavery meant in the ancient world, in medieval and early modern Europe, or in Brazil and the West Indies.
But you know what's crazy? Like people nowadays, when they think of slavery, they think of this new form of slavery.
Right.
That's what they think.
You said they didn't think of it, or
No, I'm saying today, when people think about slavery, they can only imagine what happened to Judah here. in
yes.
America. That's a slavery that's just ingrained in people's minds.
Right.
Like, this is slavery.
Because we had it the worst.
Right.
We had it the worst. Watch this. This is what we want to get to.
More important, American slavery was also awful in its effects. If we compared the present situation of the American Negro with that of, let us say, Brazilian Negroes who were slaves 20 years longer.
So Asher, they was enslaved 20 years longer than we were.
It's probably longer than that. 'Cause
Probably longer
they
than that, right?
came
That's
over
what they
here
record. That's what
in
you're
the
right. That's
early
what they record.
1500s.
Read on.
We begin to suspect that the differences are the result of very different patterns of slavery. Today, the Brazilian Negroes are Brazilians, though most are poor and do the hard and dirty work of the country. As Negroes do in the United States, they are not cut off from society. They reach into its highest strata, merging there in smaller and smaller numbers. It is true, but with...
Y'all didn't get the other page, did you? Yo, get page 16 real quick. That's the page I want. Page 16.
Oh, y'all done got the whole file.
If y'all want to bring out something, y'all go. This is the time.
Hey, also, you know, when it was just talking about how the slaves in America were disconnected from their past. I was a few weeks ago, I was talking with a brother from Eritrea, and we was talking about how when you travel outside the U.S., you see different blacks, and you're like, damn, they a little more hospitable, they a little more friendly. And he stopped me. He was like, yo, you don't understand. The blacks in America had it the worst. They've been disconnected from everybody. They don't even have a land to call their own.
Wow.
And I was like, dang, you're right.
You right.
He's like, so you can't talk about him like that. I was like, yeah, you're right, brother. You're right. Damn.
He from Eritrea?
Hey,
Yeah,
check the
Eritrea.
telegram. Check the
But he understood. He understood that we lost it, man. We lost everything. All right, you got something? Officer, you got key?
I just had to, provide them with some assistance.
Oh. Yeah, get page 16 now. 16. Let's make it quick. All right, this is the page I wanted to get to right here.
It is true, but with complete acceptance with other Brazilians of all kinds. The relations between Negroes and whites in Brazil show nothing of the mass irrationality that prevails in this country.
Go down. Let me see here. Go down, go down. You can start here, extending this line of reasoning.
Extending this line of reasoning, psychologists point out that slavery in all its forms sharply lowered the need for achievement in slaves. Negroes in bondage, stripped off their African heritage, were placed in a completely dependent role.
So we were, go up, let me see if it's something at the first paragraph.
That's heavy. That's Deuteronomy 28. verse
Yeah.
28.
Hey, read that part. Both were closed systems.
Both were closed systems with little chance of manumissions. Emphasis on survival and a single omnipresent authority. The profound personality change created by Nazi internment, as independently reported by a number of psychologists and psychiatrists who survived, was toward childishness and total acceptance of the SS guards as father figures.
Read.
A syndrome strikingly similar to the Sambo caricature of the Southern slave.
Right. Y'all know those Sambo caricatures with the big lips, all black, big red lips? That's a Sambo caricature. Go ahead.
19th century racists readily believe.
And that's what Esau was dressing up as us in black paint. Just like they do in the Netherlands. Same thing. Go ahead.
19th century racists readily believed that the Sambo personality was simply an inborn racial type. Yet no African anthropological data has ever shown any personality type resembling Sambo.
No, that Esau came up with that whole thing. That whole Sambo, coon, and all. Esau came up with that. The whole Sambo character thing, that was Esau. Go ahead.
And the concentration camps molded the equivalent personality pattern in a wide variety of Caucasian prisoners. Nor was Sambo merely a product of slavery in the abstract, for the less devastating Latin American system never developed such a type. Extending this line of reasoning, psychologists point out that slavery in all its forms sharply lowered the need for achievement in slaves. Negroes in bondage, stripped of their African heritage, were placed in a completely dependent role.
So it placed us in a completely dependent role. You're going to see on who? Watch this. Read on. You got a scripture? All right. Well, let's finish reading it real quick.
All of their rewards came not from individual initiative and enterprise, but from absolute obedience, a situation that severely depresses the need for achievement among all peoples. Most important of all, slavery vitiated family life.
Watch this.
Since many slave owners neither fostered Christian marriage among their slave couples, nor hesitated to separate them on the auction block.
Read.
The slave household often developed a fatherless.
A what?
Fatherless. Matrifocal or mother-centered pattern.
So guess what? We became dependent on the mother. That's Willie Lynch. That put her in a more independent role and put us more in a dependent role. Why? Because slavery, it made the father absent from the household. That's what it did. They created that environment up until today. All right. Let's finish reading real quick before you bring out the scripture. Finish reading.
The Reconstruction.
Now listen to this.
With the emancipation of the slaves, the Negro American family began to form in the United States on a widespread scale. But it did so in an atmosphere markedly different from that which has produced the white American family.
Read.
The Negro was given liberty.
So the Negro was given liberty. Read.
But not equality.
But not equality. Given liberty. Okay, you could go off the plantation, but you wouldn't have no equality. Go ahead.
Life remained hazardous and marginal.
Read.
Of the greatest importance, the Negro male.
So we want to focus on the Negro male. The Negro male. Watch what he said about the Negro male. Read.
Particularly in the South, became an object of intense hostility.
Why?
An attitude unquestionably based in some measures
on fear. So they did the most to oppress the Negro male, to oppress Judah here, the male. All right, why? Because of fear. They had fear of us rising up. They had fear of us being a strong father figure. He's going to say it. Read on.
when Jim Crow made its appearance towards the end of the 19th century, it may be speculated that it was the Negro male who was most humiliated thereby.
So they made sure in all things that they did to humiliate the Negro male. That was the object. Listen, we were the object to humiliate at this time, during Jim Crow. Read.
The male was more likely to use public facilities, which rapidly became segregated once the process began. And just as important, segregation and the submissiveness it exacts is surely more destructive to the male than to the female personality.
So it had more consequences on the black man than it did the black woman. Go ahead.
Keeping the Negro in his place can be translated as keeping the
Negro male in his place. Watch this. Read on.
The female was not a threat to anyone.
They didn't care about the black woman. She wasn't a threat. Nah, keep that Negro, keep that nigga down. Keep him in his place. Because he the one that's going to rise up. That's it. Look, it's going to start with him.
Didn't leadership say last night, ain't no country or system being taken down by a group of women?
No, right, yeah.
Never
Bishop did bring it up.
history.
Bishop said,
Y'all females ain't no threat, man.
y'all ain't no threat at
Y'all
all.
ain't no threat. Y'all a threat when y'all back us up. That's when the threat really comes. When we together as that family unit, you got our back, then that's when we become a threat. That's when they're gonna start coming after you.
Right.
When you back us up. But alone, without us, you ain't no threat.
Ain't no threat. They're not worried about y'all. They worried about us. Right. They worried about the moves we're making. Okay? That's why Bishop Yao said the Book of Our Fathers, man, that was a heavy, heavy show. Because he was going into J. Edgar Hoover and how they all systematically got the father out of the household. It all goes back to slavery. Watch this. Go ahead. Read on.
Can we go back up a little bit again?
Yep.
To just
Hey, I know we sidebar crazy.
segregated.
That was the law right
The
there.
spirit go. Let the spirit go.
It says the public facilities. Let me see. The male was more likely to use. Go from there.
Read that.
The male, you said the male was more likely?
The fourth line on the right.
Yep, I see
the
it.
Male, yep.
The male was more likely to use public facilities, which rapidly became segregated once the process began. And just as important, segregation and the submissiveness it exacts is surely more destructive to the male than to the female personality.
So you see, so the segregation forced the men to be submissive, and it was more destructive to the man than to the woman because a woman is made to be submissive. The only thing now is that she's being submissive not to us, but to what? The white man.
To the white man.
So instead of backing us up, now they're backing what? The white man up. So that's why, look, you're still in your place, just not under the right man.
Right. She's following some
Yeah.
man.
She's being
you're not-
submissive,
yeah,
but not to the right man.
not to the right man.
So that's why you're not a threat, because you're being submissive, just not to us.
She thinks she's independent. No, you're not. You're following some man. It's just not the right man. It's not your black man or Hispanic man.
It's not destructive to you.
Right.
You're being submissive, but not to the right person, not to the right man.
You're going against the grain. Read on.
Unquestionably, these events worked against the emergence of a strong father figure.
That's the whole point. All of these events worked against the emergence of a strong father figure. They did not want the black man to instill that strong father, to instill that give me Sirach 30, Sirach chapter 30. This is what they didn't want to happen. Oh, lost for words just now.
I didn't say anything this time.
Right. Sirach chapter 30, verse 1.
The book of Sirach, chapter 30 and verse 1.
Read.
He that loveth
Yeah,
his...
what was that?
Oh,
Man, we're going to take a quick break after this.
That was the
Finish
X-Files.
reading it. Yeah. Go ahead.
Sirach, chapter 30 and verse 1.
Read.
He that loveth his son causeth him off to fill the rod,
Mm-hmm.
that he may have joy of him in the end.
Read.
He that chasteneth his son shall have chastiseth his son shall have joy in him, and shall rejoice of him among his acquaintance.
Read. That means that goes back into Proverbs where you says you train up your child in the way he shall go. Okay, and he will always remember that way even when he gets old. I'm paraphrasing it though, but go ahead.
He that teacheth his son grieveth.
But in order to do that, you got to instill that discipline.
Right.
That's what that goes into. You got to instill discipline into your son. Read.
He that teacheth his son grieveth the enemy.
This is the problem. He that teacheth his son will grieve the enemy. This is what Esau, they don't want. That's why they kept the father figure. They kept him out the household. They systematically set all types of traps and so forth to keep the male out of the household. Because why? Read it again.
He that teacheth his son grieveth the enemy.
Read on.
And before his friends he shall rejoice of him.
Read.
Though his father die, yet he is as though he were not dead.
Read.
For he have left one behind him that is like himself.
That's the same as Hannibal. Remember his father, Hamilcar? Remember he said, when Hannibal was 9 years old, he said, listen, I want you to swear to me that you would take down Rome. Okay? And then when he did come of age to prepare himself to take down Rome, when his father had died, they said, look, when they seen him rise up, it was like seeing his father all over again in fresh youth. That's what the enemy don't want. That's what they don't want. That's why they say, yo, keep that male out of the household. Because why? He's going to teach his son to rise up against us. Okay? That's it. That's all I want on that. Go back to the page real quick before we take a break.
Unquestionably, these events worked against the emergence of a strong father figure.
So it made us docile. So that's what that submissive, that's what it made us very docile, man. Remember they had during this era, they had what was called a laughing barrel.
Yep.
We had a laughing barrel. We couldn't even laugh on the street out loud. We couldn't even laugh. They said, look, you want to laugh, nigga? Go and laugh. Put your head in that barrel and laugh. It put us in a submissive role, dependent on the woman. Go ahead. On the mother.
The very essence of the male animal. From the bantam.
So listen to what he says here. He's going to compare us to an animal. Watch this.
The very essence of the male animal.
So the very essence of a male animal. Read.
From the bantam rooster.
So everybody, you know how a rooster is. You know how the male rooster, you know how he struts around. Cocky, right? Go ahead.
To the 4-star general.
To a 4-star general. You know how a 4-star general is. He the man. Right? He's a man of war. Read.
Is to strut.
Is to what?
Strut.
Is to strut. Arrogant. Cocky. Right? Go ahead.
Indeed, in 19th century America, a particular type of exaggerated male boastfulness became almost a national style.
So that national style of strutting as a man that you should be, dominant, right? That became a boastful national style in America. Watch this.
Not for the Negro male.
But not for the Negro male. They didn't want us in that dominant role. They didn't want to see us do that. That's why they called us a boy. That's why they like, yo, they called us a boy from slavery on up.
That remind me of Django.
Yep.
Like, who's that nigga on that name?
Yep.
Because it showed the sense of sassy.
It showed authority. They didn't want us in that. They didn't want us having an authoritative role in the household or outside anywhere. Right? Go ahead.
The sassy nigga was lynched.
You see that? The sassy nigga was lynched.
Another word for sassy is lively.
Yeah.
Lively. Bold, vigorous. So
they seen us
else bold, vigorous, boastful, like they were, you dying. We gotta
get them out of here. Get them out of here.
We got to kill you. And we're called to be lively stones to build up the spiritual house. If you're not that sassy nigga right now, as an Israelite, you ain't fit.
Hey, that goes back. Now we understand because during the 60s, a lot of our leaders that rose up, they got
put down.
They got put down because they was able to electrify the people.
Marcus Garvey.
Father figures. Yep. You understand? So that they didn't want that. That's why I said the sassy nigga was lynched.
They were talking about a Messiah. They were afraid of a Messiah rising up.
All right, go ahead.
In this situation, the Negro family made but little progress toward the middle-class pattern of the present time. Margaret Mead.
That's all I want. Hey, so look, we're going to take a quick break, all right? We're going to take a quick break. You can call us at 267-702-6121, all right? Or you could text us at 267-702-6121, all right? So we'll be back after the break.
Israel united in Christ, from corners to countries, gathering the 12 tribes of Israel. We gonna take the world.
family, Most High in Christ bless. I'm also Heles.
Officer Eliab, Officer Gideon.
And we're here with IUIC Puerto Rico.
That's right.
What we about to do is we're about to clean up our neighborhoods. All right. We don't only do it spiritually. We're going to do it physically. Let our light shine. All right. With the IUIC community cleanup movement. Build some community relations. Hopefully win some people over and give out some flyers. Let the word go out at the same time. So all praise be to the Most High. So pray.
I don't fear man, I just fear God. Open up your Bible, oh Lord. Listen to his voice, listen to your elders. You ain't got a choice. Gathering the 12 and prepare for war. Before I make a move, I prepare the Lord. I pray, lightning in my veins, you can call me Thor. About to shut the world like never before. Trying to save the world from eternal doom. Listening for trumpets before the boom. Like a new movie in the hood. Black Jesus in 3D coming soon. About time that we know that we work. Who survived through the worst of the worst. We done came from the dirt. Had flavor before I was birthed. The Israel, the salt of the earth. That's right. It's like tacos without any salsa. A hot wings without the sriracha. Yo lo hago por toda mi grasa. Arrepiéntete hoy, ¿qué te pasa? Arréglate tú y tu casa. No hay vida en doctrina falsa. Hay que hacer decisión como quiera. Tú vas a beber de la taza. Turn away from sin, do the running man. Niggas selling they soul for a half a pan. A couple gram likes and some Jordans. But all that bullshit ain't important. You're sleeping with the enemy, you a deceiver. About to cut him off, hand me the cleaver. What's wrong with this dude? He got jungle fever. You was never with the squad, we don't really need it.
The Hebrews Journal is back. This time we're here to bring you an authentic look into our realm from the outside world. So sit down, relax, and enjoy this exclusive Cuts from the Street edition brought to you by the Hebrews Journal. Premiering tonight on the Hebrews Journal YouTube channel. Shalom.
Volunteers out here at the MLK Day Parade and looking at the state of our people. Our people are in a deep sleep. They've been in a coma for too long.
I fear I am integrating my people into a burning house.
Martin Luther King died for this.
It shows royalty, it shows unity, it shows just, hope, I just say hope,
The book of Isaiah, chapter 11 and verse 11. And it shall come to pass in that day that the Lord shall set his hand again, the second time, to recover the remnant of his people, which shall be left from Assyria, and from Egypt, and from Pathros, and from Cush, and from Elam, and from Shinar, and from Hamath, and from the islands of the sea. Australia is one of the islands of the sea. And you have many other islands near Australia. For example, you have Vanuatu, you have Papua New Guinea, you have the Solomon Islands. All of these are islands of the sea, places where the Israelites in the last days will be scattered. Why? Because they are suffering God's judgment, because they broke his commandments.
To the 12 tribes which are scattered abroad, greetings. So the same mission the disciples had is our mission today. Our mission is unlike any other mission throughout the world. I want everybody to understand that. Okay? There's no group on earth who has undertaken the true mission of the disciples of Christ to resurrect and gather the 12 tribes of Israel which have been scattered abroad. You may call it the diaspora today. The Bible uses other words, the scattered. Okay? But it's the same thing. Our people who suffered during the time of colonialization, forced migration, sub-Saharan slave trade, transatlantic slave trade. And it seems like our people have been forgotten. But you are not forgotten. And as Israelites, we are commanded by Christ to go worldwide and gather the forgotten people, those black and brown people that suffered during the sub-Saharan slave trade and the transatlantic slave trade that is recorded in Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter. So our mission, our goal is to go from country to country and reawaken our people and bring them to the truth that they are the Israelites according to the Bible.
Think about what went into it. A lot of people don't realize, you know, we do show up on the cruise ship, but they don't realize the preparation that goes into it.
This gospel's never been taught. Okay, what's been taught is a injustice. Roman Catholicism was forced on our people Christianity, which has indoctrinated our people into lies. So we're here to undo the lies and reunite our destroyed people.
This is a national song about our history.
To where it's grown to, and just to be a part of that growth, and to be able to move the Lord's army. I mean, really just deploying him. And that thing, once you kind of inherit that into your spirit and knowing what the Lord tasked you with and the great responsibility that you have, that goes back to the love that you were talking about, right?
I find a bus, say I got 35 men. On the way back, the driver says, hey, I need $800 for this bus and $600 for the other bus. I said, I'm not paying you that much.
Eso no es raza, eso no es sangre. En la Biblia, eso no es nacionalidad. En la iglesia esquina, los saben de Biblia, vienen a decir que Cristo, que Jesucristo es blanco, es negro. ¿Cómo así?
Es negro,
si la Biblia lo
es negro, es negro.
Why do we have white images in church? Why do we have white?
Shalom, we're back from the break, Hey, listen, I know we sidebar, but the point was of all of that was the fact that they oppressed Judah more than any other tribe. So remember, we was going back into the Black Panthers and all the other tribes rising up throughout the world. Now, I want to clear up something
Some on the Panorca.
Hold on. I wanted to clear up something obviously I Ken brought out about being sassy. Sassy has a new definition today. And the brothers is bugging out. So, hey, look, let's get the definition of sassy. Matter of fact, go back to the page and read that. Yeah. Go back to the page and read it.
Learn how to read in context.
Y'all crazy, man. Hey, let's get that again. Hey, you could put the pictures up too, man. Have y'all been putting the pictures up? Black Panther movement pictures and all that?
I seen some pictures of Hamites going up out of nowhere.
Lips touching. Oh,
gosh.
Going on.
So they rose up? Come on, brothers.
Out the dust.
They ain't even answering y'all. Have y'all been posting pictures?
One said yes, the other one said no.
I don't get it. All right. Anyway, let's go.
No, sir.
To the right.
Let's go back. Yeah, let's go back.
It's on the right side. Scroll down.
There.
Unquestionably, these events worked against the emergence of a strong father figure, the very essence of the male animal. From the bantam rooster to the 4-star general is to strut. Indeed.
Right. So it says the very essence of the male animal. The male animal, go ahead.
Indeed. In 19th century America, a particular type of exaggerated male boastfulness became almost a national style.
So indeed, it says, indeed in 19th century America, a particular type of exaggerated male boastfulness. It became almost a national style in America here. Go ahead.
Not for the Negro male.
But it wasn't for Judah. It wasn't for the Negro male. Go ahead.
The sassy nigga.
The sassy nigga. This is what we want to focus on. The sassy nigga, read.
Was lynched.
The sassy nigga was lynched. Let's get the definition of sassy real quick. Definition of sassy.
Remember, the subject matter of that paragraph is a strong father figure.
That's the subject
matter. They did not want a strong father figure emerging, so what they do, they lynch those sassy niggers.
Right. So let's see what that. Okay. Hey, read the definition.
Sassy, adjective, improperly forward or bold.
Improperly forward or bold. So sassy in this context, it means bold. Walking around with that arrogancy. Right. Boastfulness, arrogancy. Read.
Synonyms. Fresh, impertinent, impudent, overbold.
Overbold.
Saucy.
Read. Saucy.
Smart.
Smart. So they didn't want us walking around being smart.
Wise.
Read. Wise.
Forward.
Uh-huh.
Used of temperament or behavior.
Mm-hmm.
Lacking restraint or modesty.
Hey, get dictionary.com. What dictionary is this? Huh? Vocabulary.com. Oh, well, we always use dictionary.com. My brother's doing their own thing over there.
They're being sassy.
Right. That's dictionary.com. See, this is today's.
Yeah, that's today's one.
Disrespectful or impudent. Still, but we want the second definition. Read what today's definition is of sassy.
Disrespectful or impudent.
Right. So today, today's definition of sassy is disrespectful or impudent. Like you say, oh, she's sassy. She real sassy. Okay, she's being disrespectful. All in it referred to a woman today. Disrespectful, all in a man's face and so forth. Right. But the being bold. No, the second definition is what we want. Watch the second. The second one is in context what we reading right now. Read that.
Boldly stylish and smart.
This is what they didn't want. Boldly stylish and smart. Okay. The first definition is used today. No, the second definition for what we were reading in the book, The Negro Family, boldly stylish and smart. They didn't want that. Right? Go back. Go back to the page. Come on. All right, read that again.
Indeed, in 19th century.
Remember, it goes with what he's saying. Read indeed again. It goes with the definition. Read.
Indeed, in 19th century America, a particular type of exaggerated male boastfulness.
Overbold.
Overbold, boastfully stylish and smart. Read.
Became almost a national style.
Read.
not for the Negro male.
So we couldn't be boastfully stylish or smart. They didn't want us being bold and walking around with that arrogant. Because you know how Judah is. That's how we carry ourselves. That's how we carry ourselves. Go ahead.
The sassy nigga.
The sassy nigga, the over bold, the boldly stylish and smart nigga, go ahead.
Was lynched.
They lynched us. They seen any type of smartness or wiseness coming out of us, any boldness, the way we carried ourselves, they lynched us.
Remember, they always took the buck out of all the males and made an example out of him in front of everybody in order to put fear in all the other males to make sure they don't rise up to be that strong father figure.
Right. Okay, read on.
In this situation, the Negro family made but little progress toward the middle-class pattern of the present time.
Hey, drop that. Give me Genesis 49 now. We start at verse 8. Let me show you what they know. What they know about Judah.
The book of Genesis, chapter 49 and verse 8.
Read.
Judah, thou art he whom thy brethren shall praise.
So the Bible says, Judah, thou art he whom thy brethren shall praise. Okay, why? That goes back into Deuteronomy 33 and 7. Go ahead. Because why? The scripture says that bring Judah to his brethren. So the other tribe, they're going to praise Judah for what? Bringing the truth to them. Read.
Thy hand shall be in the neck of thine enemies.
What that's going into? That's the turbulent 60s when we had, if you got your hand in the neck of somebody, you what? You're choking them. Thy hand is in the neck of your enemies. You're fighting them. Go ahead. That happened during the 60s when we rose up. All right, because of the oppression. And likewise, the other tribes started to rise up throughout the world. Like the Dalits that we just read about. Like those of us that was in Australia and so forth. Okay, go ahead.
Thy father's children shall bow down before thee.
Read.
Judah is a lion's whelp.
You see that with Judah is a lion's whelp. A lion's whelp, fierce. A lion's whelp is a young, fierce lion. That was Judah, especially at the turbulent 60s. But Esau understood that. The so-called white man understood that. Even from slavery, they knew the prophecy that this is the group right here that's going to rise up. This is the group right here that got that lion in them. That's going to rise up the rest of the tribes. Keep him down. If you see any boldly stylish and smartness or anything of that nature inside of him, lynch him. Read.
From the prey, my son, thou art gone up.
From the prey, thou art gone up. Read.
He stooped down. He couched as a lion.
So this is us in the 60s. We stooped down and we couched as a lion, pouncing like a lion, ready to pounce on our enemies. Read.
And as an old lion.
As a what?
And as an old lion.
So now, what's the characteristics of an old lion? That's why Esau did whatever they could as an old lion. So after the turbulent 60s, guess what? They started putting the drugs in the community. Okay, they had the war on drugs. They came out with all these different avenues to keep us down, keep us lazy as an old lion. So why? We wouldn't rise up. Read.
And as an old lion, who shall rouse him up?
Esau understood this. Who shall rouse him up? Esau understood the prophecy. That's why Judah was more oppressed than any other tribe. That's why they kept us down. And notice they said the Negro male. They didn't care about the woman. It wasn't about the black woman. It was about the black man. Keep him in his place. Because if he rise up, we finish. He's the one that's going to be able to electrify. He's the one, the Messiah is going to come out. The Messiah is going to come out of him. And he's going to be the one to electrify and unite all the other tribes together. That's why J. Edgar Hoover said what he said. The biggest threat to America is Negro unity. Right. Esau know that thing. Like on the Book of Our Fathers, how with Bishop Yawasop, what they were bringing out was that he said J. Edgar Hoover throughout his tenure. Remember, this man been in the office since what, the 20s? Since Marcus Garvey. He's seen the Cold War. He's seen World War I, World War II, all these different wars. But the biggest threat was Negro unity. Out of all of that he's seen throughout his tenure as the FBI director. All right, so that shows you how much of a threat we are. Okay, go ahead.
And also, like you were saying, how the threat is the male. Remember how America is called spiritual Egypt. Mm-hmm. And Egypt remember, Pharaoh told the, what were their names? Shifra and Puah. He said, look, if a woman child be born, you can let him live. But if a man child be born, kill them.
Same thing. Same exact. Get it. Let's read it. Same exact thing.
The book of Exodus, chapter 1 and verse 15. And the king of Egypt spake to the Hebrew midwives, of which the name of the one was Shiphrah, and the name of the other Puah. And he said, when ye do the office of a midwife to the Hebrew women, and see them upon the stools, if it be a son, then ye shall kill him.
You see that? If it be a son, ye shall kill him. Go ahead.
But if it be a daughter, then she shall live.
So kill off the male. Kill off the lineage of the males. All right? Keep the women alive. Well, they ain't caring about the black. They ain't caring about the black woman. It's the male that bring forth the seed, that carries the seed, to keep the lineage going. All right? So go back to that page. I think we've seen that up in the. Go back to the page real quick. Go down. Yeah, you could do a whole class on this, to be honest.
And even the script you read earlier in Sirach 30, officer, it said, he that teacheth his son grieveth the enemy.
Yes. Yep. He that teacheth his son. They was, remember, hey, go back where it says that that was they fear. Go to the page 15. I think it was. Matter of fact, go up. Go back to 16. Slow down, too. You're moving too fast. Yeah, the Negro was given liberty. Read that part.
The Negro was given liberty, but not equality. Life remained hazardous and marginal. Of the greatest importance, the Negro male, particularly in the South, became an object of intense hostility, an attitude unquestionably based in some measure on fear.
What did they fear? What did Esau fear? That they had to go this far. Remember the scripture said they forward our affliction. Remember, we were supposed to be, quote unquote, emancipated, but they forward our affliction. What was the fear? Why? Because they understood the prophecy. They knew this group right here is going to, I'm telling you, they're going to be the one. Let's set black codes up, put them back on the plantation. Let's make them think they have liberty, but let them not be equal to us. Let's keep that male nigga, let's keep him in his place. Oppress him more. Don't worry about the black. We already got our head. We done did our job with her. It's the male that we got to worry about. And if we see any type of boldness come out of him, that lion that's inside of him, if he rise up, lynch him. Get him out of here. Do not waste any time. Lynch him. That's what was going on. That was the fear. They didn't want to see us rise up. Get him out of. Do not have him in the household, teaching his children, teaching his son. We don't want to see him in a strong father figure role, because he's going to, guess what? He's going to teach his son to grieve us, to come against us. You think they read history. They know about Hannibal. They know what happened throughout history, the Maccabees. Right. They understood all that. Okay? So that's what they was afraid of. All right? Go down. Yeah, that's what they was lynching. They were lynching us like nothing. And let me tell you what they used to lynch us. They used a white woman to say we raped them. That was the number one thing they used. Okay, the number one tool that they used was the white woman. Bring the white woman in so she could say that we raped them. Once she said that, it was a wrap. That gave them the okay to kill us and lynch us. All right, 9 times, and that wasn't even what was happening. They just used that as a scapegoat to kill us, to lynch us. All right? Y'all got anything before we?
No, I was going to say, even today, with that lynching, how we always talk about how if any actors or anyone comes out and talks about them being the Israelites, they're publicly lynched on TV and stuff like that now. That's that sassy nigga that they say, okay, this man is standing up bold. He's going against what we taught, so now we have to lynch him in front of everybody. so it's still happening.
Hey, just like that movie, I know the Bishop show called Trick Baby. The movie Trick Baby came out in 1973, and they said if there's any smart one amongst them, we got to hurry up and pretty much recruit them, all right, and take them under our wing. Okay, so that we got to separate them from the rest of them, his people.
He feel isolated.
Right, huh?
He feel isolated because now he don't feel like he a part of his own people.
Right,
because he's stuck with he been recruited by Esau.
And the whole point of that was because if there's a smart one among them, guess what? He's going to rise up and he's going to be able to electrify them.
Right.
So they said, look, we got to hurry up and get him out from amongst them.
Right.
All right. Think about today. Think about the influence. Think about your stars, your rappers, your sports, your actors. Think about all of them that have great influence. What you think they doing? They control that thing. Esau control that thing. They don't want to see him out as a. They don't want any of them to be a male figure to us, a strong father figure to us. So what? They put him in a dress. They put him in a dress. They put him. They emasculate us. Okay. What else? What's some of the other things they do?
They might use them for to calm down situations that have, like, for example, how they use the black pastors when the hurricane hit Haiti, and it was like, was it Haiti or not Haiti?
Talking about Katrina.
Katrina, sorry. They use the Black Panthers to calm everybody down. So now the people turn against them like, yo, you supposed to be on our side. So they use them to calm down the people against Esau sometimes too. So that's one of the ways.
That's that Ecclesiastes chapter 7, verse 7, where it says oppression makes a wise man mad.
Yeah.
But now Esau, they see that we have wise men in the community. What they do, they give them a token. They give them that money. That gift destroys their heart.
Hey, they give them a job. Say, you get a job, you get a job, and you get a job. That's what happens. If they see anybody angry, any one of us angry in the community, we rising up for our oppression of our people, they say, yo, get him, hurry up, and give him a job. Give him some money, all right? Make him something. Get him from amongst them, because he's going to rise up and he's going to electrify them. Give me that, Ecclesiastes 7 and 7.
The book of
I gotta finish my topic next week. I'm still trying to get back on it.
Eventually.
Go ahead.
Ecclesiastes chapter 7 and verse 7.
But it's just so much to be said about this. You know what I mean? So, go ahead.
Ecclesiastes chapter 7 and verse 7. Surely oppression maketh a wise man mad.
You see that? Oppression is going to make a wise man mad. I mean, it's controlled anger. He ain't out bugging out, throwing stuff. This brother right here, he's not out rioting and breaking up, throwing, burning up the CVS that he may need for tomorrow to get medicine, get some Pampers for his children. He's not out burning the CVS. He's not out destroying the things in the community. This is controlled anger. He know to get the people together. That feel the same as he felt. Just like Mattathias.
Right. I was about to say that. Yep.
Right? Read it again.
Surely oppression maketh a wise man mad.
So that wise man, that control anger, because like Mattathias, he was zealous of the law. He said, any of y'all that willing to keep God's laws, follow me. Okay, why? We was being oppressed by the Greeks at that time. And that was like I said before, we was always, it's always us. We start the rebellions, man. All the revolts. That because of oppression. Okay, so all we was trying to do is shake off that yoke from oppression, which caused the insurrections, which caused the revolts. All right?
And also that's the same thing we talk about now, how Esau looks for those that's trying to rouse up the people and try to bring them closer with them is the same thing they tried to do with Mattathias. They sent the king's officer to Mattathias first.
They say, yo, we got to hurry up and get this dude.
Yeah.
Yo, get that. They say, yo, we got to hurry up and get this dude. He ain't take it.
The book of 1 Maccabees, chapter 1 and verse 15. In the meanwhile, while the king's officers, such as compelled the people to revolt, came into the city of Modin to make them sacrifice. And when many of Israel came unto them, Mattathias also and his sons came together. Then answered the king's officers, and said to Mattathias on this wise, Thou art a ruler, and an honorable and great man in this city, and strengthened with sons and brethren. Now therefore, come thou first, and fulfill the king's commandment, like as all the heathen have done. Yea, and the men of Judah also, and such as remain at Jerusalem. So shalt thou and thy house be in the number of the king's friends, and thou and thy children shall be honored with silver and gold and many rewards.
So they always wanted the leader. They always wanted to get the leader. So they seen Mattathias. They understood that, look, he's fervent of the law. We need to get him from amongst his people. Why? Because he the one that's going to electrify and instill in the young men to rise up. So we need, hey, look, we need you to come here and show everybody that you're going to take part in the king's sacrifices. Read on what he said.
Then Mattathias answered and spake with a loud voice, Though all the nations that are under the king's dominion obey him, and fall away every one from the religion of their fathers, and give consent to his commandment, yet will I and my sons and my brethren walk in the covenant of our fathers. God forbid that we should forsake the law and the ordinances. We will not hearken to the king's words to go from our religion, either on the right hand or the left.
Right. Go ahead. Read on.
Now, when he had left speaking these words, there came one of the Jews in the sight of all to sacrifice on the altar which was at Modin.
So they come to Kun.
According to the king's commandment. Which thing, when Mattathias saw, he was inflamed with zeal.
Read.
And his reins trembled. Neither could he forbear to shew his anger
He couldn't take it no more. Read.
According to judgment. Wherefore he ran and slew him upon the altar. Also the king's commissioner, who compelled men to sacrifice, he killed at that time. And the altar he pulled down. Thus dealt he zealously for the law of God, like as Phinehas did unto Zambri, the son of Salmon.
Verse 27.
And Mattathias cried throughout the city with a loud voice, saying, Whosoever is zealous of the law, and maintaineth the covenant, let him follow me.
That began the rebellion right there. Once he slew the king's officers, that was the rebellion. That was the insurrection. All right? So that's how I'm segueing back into my topic. Go back to the page. Go back to the page. Go back to the page. No. Well, we want the history of the Jews. So we went through all that to show, just to show how they oppressed Judah more. Okay? So that we wouldn't rise up. All right? So they understood the prophecy.
Now we can start the class.
Now we can start the class.
Let's get into the class now.
All right. Hey, so go to the next page. Let me see. Oh, start at the Go back. Start at the Babylonian Jews held Trajan.
The Babylonian Jews beheld in...
Oh, yeah, he's on the second page. Yep. I remember Marbarsapis. Read that. Go back.
Marbarsapis, who was now on the throne of Adiabene, was perhaps also inclined towards Judaism. He fought bravely against Trajan, but was overcome by the Roman forces. Trajan, unlike any of his predecessors, witnessed after a very short space of time the glorious results of his campaign.
Read.
Conquest seemed to have met him halfway when he withdrew into his winter quarters in Antioch, 115 to 116, in order to receive homage. The chief campaign was almost at an end. In the spring, he again set forth in order to crush any opposition and to carry into effect the long-cherished plan of conquering the Jews.
Go down. Not alone. Yeah, that's where you was at.
Not alone, the Babylonian Jews, but also the Jews of Egypt.
But also the Jews of Egypt. Go ahead.
Cyrenaica, Libya, and those in the island of Cyprus were seized with the idea of shaking off the Roman yoke.
So now remember why we went where we went. Because remember here, it said the Babylonian Jews, it said the Babylonian Jews, the Jews of Egypt, the Cyrenaica, Libya, And those in the island of Cyprus were seized with the ideal of shaking off the Roman yoke. We was all on one accord to rise up.
So these were sassy Jews.
Yeah, they were sassy. They were bold. They were right, whatever. Right? So they rose up. So my point was the fact I brought up to today during slavery with the Maroons in the Caribbean islands and so forth. And during the Black Panther movement also. How we one section would pop it off of the tribes, and then everybody follow, all the rest of the tribe followed suit. Okay, read on.
As if possessed by an overwhelming power, the Jews of this far-lying district seized their weapons, as though to show the enemy that their power was not destroyed, nor their courage broken.
Read.
And that they were not willing to share the weakness and degradation of the times, and to sink without an effort amongst the masses of enslaved nations. Such unanimous action presupposes a concerted plan and a powerful leader. From Judea, the rebellion spread through the neighboring countries to the Euphrates and Egypt, 116 to 117. And half a century after the fall of the Jewish state, a new race had arisen, who inherited the zealous spirit of their fathers.
Say a new race had arisen who inherited the zealous spirit of their fathers. Go ahead.
And who bore in their hearts a vivid remembrance of their former independence.
Read.
The hope of the Tanite teacher. Soon the temple will be rebuilt.
So we had a hope of rebuilding, of revolting, gaining independence again, and rebuilding our temple. Go ahead.
Had kept alive a love of freedom in the Jewish youths.
Remember, Jewish youths. Remember the young Dalits, the Black Panthers were young. Okay, so it always instilled in the youth to rise up. The youth had that spirit. Okay, to rise up, to make something happen. Go ahead. That lion's whelp. Go ahead.
Who had not lost the habit of using weapons in the schools. A legend relates that Trajan's wife.
Oh, hey, go back. Go back.
Weapons in the schools?
Yes. Read that part again. I just seen that. Go ahead.
Soon the temple will be rebuilt and had kept alive a love of freedom in the Jewish youths who had not lost the habit of using weapons in the schools.
So we were training martial arts in the schools. So we was training. We was training with the swords and so forth in the schools.
That's what we do here today with the Bible.
Right. Go ahead.
A legend relates that Trajan's wife, Platina, had given birth to a son on the 9th of Ab.
Right, so we do that with the Bible. Reading the Bible. Getting sharp, right. The Bible.
The weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty through God.
Go ahead.
And lost it on the Feast of Dedication, which the Jews kept in memory of the victory of the Hasmoneans. And she had interpreted their sorrowing as the hatred of an enemy.
Read.
And their rejoicing as joy for her loss. The empress therefore wrote to Trajan, instead of subduing the barbarians, you should rather punish the Jews who revolt against you.
So she already knew what was up. She was like, look, instead of worrying about them, you need to get these Jews over here. Because they're annihilating us. Go ahead.
And that shows right there that the Edomite man and the Edomite woman are in agreement. Whereas us right now, we're not in agreement. We're getting ourselves right.
Right.
But they are both in agreement.
Right. Go ahead.
In Judea, the leaders of the rebellion appeared to have been two courageous men from Alexandria, Julianus and Pappus. The former seems to have been the oligarch of Alexandria.
Hey, jump down to Cyrene.
In Cyrene, whose Jewish inhabitants had been encouraged to revolt against the Romans immediately after their defeat. The rebellion was at its height. They had a leader named Andreas, also called Lucas.
Right, so Andreas also called Lucas. Read.
One of whose names was perhaps an allegorical nature.
Read.
Allegorical nature.
Read on.
The Egyptian Jews, who in former times had been loyal to the Romans, this time made common cause with the rebels and conducted operations as in every other revolution. They first attacked the neighboring towns, killed the Romans and Greeks, and avenged the destruction of their nationality on their nearest enemies. Encouraged by the result, they collected in troops and attacked the Roman army under the Roman general Lupus, who commanded the legions against the Jews. In the first encounter, the wild enthusiasm gave the Jews an advantage over the Romans.
So it gave the Jews an advantage over the Romans, right? Esau, go ahead.
And Lupus was defeated. The results of this victory were scenes of horror and barbarity on both sides.
Hey, 1 second. Lupus. His name is also, remember his name was Lucius Quietus. All right, get me the Wikipedia. Lucius Quietus. Who was Lucius Quietus? To understand, Esau always had us in their armies. We was always in their armies. They always used us to fight against each other. Lucius Quietus. You don't have to put Wikipedia in there. Just put Lucius Quietus. Or go to you go to Wikipedia. Yep. Right here, yep. Click that. Read that.
Lucius Quietus.
So remember, Trajan gave orders to him to go and quell the whole rebellion. All right, against us. Go ahead.
Was a Roman Berber general and 11th legate of Judea from 117. He was the principal commander against the Jewish rebellion known as the Kitos War.
Known as the Kitos War. Go ahead.
Kitos is a later corruption of Quietus.
So Kitos come from Quietus. Go ahead, read.
As both a general and a highly acclaimed commander, he was notably one of the most accomplished Berber statesmen in ancient Roman history. After the death of the Emperor Trajan, Quietus was murdered or executed, possibly on the orders of Trajan's successor, Hadrian.
Go down to life, real quick.
Originally a Berber prince.
A what?
Originally a Berber prince.
Read on.
Lucius's father and his warriors had supported the Roman legions in their attempt to subdue Mauritania to Tingitana, northern modern-day Morocco.
Now, give me the page. Give me Frank Snowden, Blacks in Antiquity, okay? The bishop always uses book. Frank Snowden, Blacks in Antiquity. Give me page 143 about Lucius Quietus. Remember, he was like the second in command, the Roman general. Trajan used him to quell the rebellions. Lucius Quietus. Give me page 143. Did y'all take the title page, the first page? No? All right, never mind. Just give me the page. This is Frank Snowden, Blacks in Antiquity. It's not on Telegram. He should have took pictures of it. Page 143, 188, 123. Yep, there it is. Blow that up.
Blacks in Antiquity, Ethiopians in the Greco-Roman Experience by Frank M. Snowden, Jr., 1970.
Yep, go ahead. Next page, 143. Blow it up. Page 143. Yep. Come on. Read the top. Start at Severus raises.
Severus raises the question of the extent to which the Romans recruited numeri from Ethiopians such as the Blemmies, Nobades, and dark Africans whom they had encountered in various parts of Africa.
Go ahead.
Lucius Quietus.
Who?
Lucius Quietus.
So remember, Lucius Quietus, the Roman general, read.
Either a Moor
or either a Moor. Go ahead.
Or full-blooded black Ethiopian.
You see that? So they say either a Moor, so he was black. He was a Jew himself. He's an Israelite. Go ahead.
Under Domitian, had achieved success in Trajan's Dacian and Parthian campaigns.
You see that? So they was always using us in their armies. Remember Josephus? And you had what's the other brother from Egypt? Alexander. He was second in command under Titus. So they always used us as a bodyguards. They kept us on their hip, man. Because why? We knew how to fight. We had those skills, knowing how to fight. So we always rose to ranks in the armies, in their armies. All right. Go to the next page. 188. Come on. Yep. Read if we knew more about the subjects.
If we knew more about the subjects of these portraits and other unidentified Negro marbles and bronzes,
Read.
we could be more specific about the careers and positions of the blacks in classical antiquity. We know enough, however, to say that manumission and a career overture aux talents were equally available to Ethiopians as to others. Aesop, according to some accounts, was Ethiopian. Amasis, it has been suggested, was a dusky-skinned medic from Naucratis and perhaps Negroid. The dark or black-skinned Terence arrived in Rome as a slave from Carthage and achieved fame as a comic poet.
See, the dark or black-skinned Terence arrived in Rome as a slave from Carthage. Go ahead. And what?
And achieved fame as a comic poet.
Read.
He was accepted in the literary and high social circles of the day. And his daughter is said to have married a Roman knight. Heliodorus, the author of the Ethiopica, it has been suggested was a colored man.
Watch this.
An Ethiopian soldier served in the army of Septimius Severus in Britain.
Here we go.
Lucius Quietus.
Lucius Quietus. Read.
Whether Moor or Negro.
Whether a Moor or Negro, same difference. Same thing. Moor means Negro. Whether Moor or Negro, he was black. Go ahead.
Attained positions of great power under Trajan. Although we can identify with some degree of certainty only one of the Negroes preserved in marble or bronze, we are justified in assuming that at least the busts of unidentified Negroes in marble and bronze depicted Negroes of the less humble social classes.
Okay, you can drop that. Give me page 123 real quick. 123. And then give me History of the Jews, Solomon Grazel, page 250. Page 250. No, I think page... You'll see it. I think it's 250. Go ahead, read that. No, it's not 250. It's another page. It's highlighted all blue. Read that. Do I want this yet? No, I don't want this right now. Give me History of the Jews, Solomon Grazel, real quick. Just want to show y'all something. I think we read it. Yeah, that's it. I think we read it last week. Just want to show y'all something real quick. Read that. Origin of North African Jewry.
Origin of North African Jewry. Stories, more or less credible, agree that the Jewish settlement in North Africa was a very ancient date.
So he was always there from very ancient, from time immemorial. Go ahead.
It may indeed be true that individual Israelites came there as early as the days of King Solomon, whose time cities established by Tyrian and Sidonian colonists were active commercially.
Read.
Jews are known to have lived in Cyrenaica, Tripoli, soon after the reign of Ptolemy I in the 3rd century BCE. Their numbers were augmented by fugitives from Antiochus Epiphanes
from the Greek captivity. Go ahead.
Of Syria, before he was defeated by the Maccabean armies.
Read.
One of these refugees was Jason of Cyrene.
Who what?
Who wrote a book describing the Maccabean War.
So he wrote the book describing the Maccabean War. Read.
Josephus, the Jewish historian who lived 2 centuries later, describes Cyrenaica as the center of a large Jewish population.
So he was always there. Read. Watch this.
A further increase in Jewish numbers came as a result of the defeat of the Jews by Rome in 70 CE. So large was the Jewish population of Cyrenaica in the next generation that in the ill-fated uprising of 115 to 117, the Jews almost overcame their pagan neighbors and the Roman armies.
Read.
Rome's fearful vengeance caused many to flee further west into the territory then known as Mauritania, and now as Tunisia, Algeria, and Morocco.
Read on.
Other Jews from the former population of Cyrenaica fled completely beyond the reach of Rome.
So we fled. So during the rebellion, and even during 70 AD, we fled into Mauritania, Tunisia, Algeria, Morocco. We was always there. All right, from the time of 70 AD. Remember, it said numbers were augmented. All right, so then after we fled beyond the reach of the Sahara, of the desert, and went into what? And went into sub-Saharan West Africa. Go ahead.
Other Jews from the former population of Cyrenaica fled completely beyond the reach of Rome into the desert to the south.
Read.
Such is the explanation how the Sahara Desert first acquired Jewish tribes, toughened by a fighting tradition and possessed of physical characteristics, which
is what?
It is said still make them approximate very closely the original Jewish population of Palestine.
All right, so he letting you know, those of us in Africa, sub-Saharan Africa, we are the Jews. The Jews are black. That's what he's saying. Now, remember, Mauritania. Give me, go to the Telegram. Mauritania. Watch this. Lucius Quietus was from Mauritania. He was from Mauritania. No, not that. Go up. It's a page. I think I'll put it on there. Go up. Nope, that's not it. Come on, move. Go up. That's not it. I'll let you know. It's a page. Just like when you go. All right, so I didn't pull. Hold on. One second. I probably did post the whole link. Go down. Oh, man. Dang, I thought I posted that. One second. Let me see. I thought I posted that. Nah, I have it here. It's right here. One second. Hey, I'm about to put it on the Telegram. But I need y'all to go to the page. So when you click it, I'm going to tell you what page to go to. I think I put the page down. Page 332. Page 332. Just click. Yeah, yep. Yep. Right here. I think that's all I want. Page, yeah. Hurry up. Page, yep. Blow that up. Let me see. Go down. Let me see something. All right. Start an examination. Is that the... Let me see. Go down. Go up. Yep. Start an examination of the ancient.
Examination.
So this is a book called Bodily Wonders and Wonders
of Bodily Strength and Skill.
Yeah,
in all ages and all countries.
Right.
Examination of ancient monuments enable us to understand better the difference between the Greek javelin and the Roman pilum or spear.
So this is about the weapon, the javelin. The weapon, the javelin, right? Go ahead.
The latter
was spear. Read.
The latter was very strong and thick, and like the former, it was used both as a projectile and as a stabbing weapon.
Mm-hmm.
It was made of dogberry tree wood, was between 7 and 8 feet long, and was furnished with an iron head half the length of the entire weapon.
Read.
The socket into which the shaft was inserted reaching halfway along it. We have spoken of the exploits that have been achieved in throwing the javelin.
Read. Watch this.
When referring to the skill of the Emperor Commodus.
So they referring to the skill of the Emperor Commodus. Watch this.
The people of Mauritania.
The people of who?
Mauritania.
The people of Mauritania, that was us. Read.
Were famous for their skill in this art.
Read. So we were famous for the skill in throwing the javelin, the spear. Read.
And they were the instructors of the Romans under the empire.
Read it again. We were who?
The people of Mauritania were famous for their skill in this art.
Uh-huh.
And they were the instructors.
We were the who?
Instructors.
Read.
Of the Romans under the empire.
We was teaching Esau warfare. We was teaching them how to throw the javelin. We was teaching them about various weapons. Okay? That's why they always used us in their armies. We was teaching them how to fight. We were teaching them warfare.
The art of war.
The art of war. They knew to come to us. Okay? Read that again. Just sounds good.
The people of Mauritania were famous for their skill in this art.
Read.
And they were the instructors of the Romans under the empire.
Uh-huh.
The tutors of Commodus belong to this nation.
The tutors of Commodus belong to this nation. He would take in, and it just like when you bring it up to today, you had instructors like Moses Powell doing like the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, and so forth that knew various martial arts. But I think he trained the FBI. Or whatever.
Alexander the Greek, he was also taught by, who was it? Was it Aristotle?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
So our people always,
Remember, we the formers. The scriptures say we the formers of all things, man. All right.
Hey, mind if I get one scripture concerning what he just said?
Yeah, we about to end it.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Just to show what he was just talking about, how Alexander was taught by Aristotle, who was a black man, right? 2 Maccabees chapter 1.
Yeah, 1 and 10, I think.
Yes, 1 and verse 10.
2 Maccabees chapter 1 verse 10. In the 184th year, the people that were at Jerusalem and in Judea, and the council and Judas sent greeting and health unto Aristobulus.
Aristobulus was an Israelite, so during their time they wrote to Aristobulus. Go ahead.
King Ptolemaeus' master.
King who?
Ptolemaeus' master.
King Ptolemaeus was a Greek.
Dang.
But he was his master in teaching him how to be a king.
Right.
And in all different types of philosophy and everything.
Everything came from us.
Go ahead, read on. That was the last part. Read.
Who was of the stock of the anointed priests, and to the Jews that were in Egypt.
That was it also.
See that? Hey, finish reading the bottom part, the Cadusians.
The Cadusians, or Jellies, a people of Media, were counted after the Moors.
So they were counted after us. Go ahead.
The most adroit throwers of the dart.
But we were first. We were first as the most skilled with the weapon of the dart or the javelin or the spear or any weapon for that matter. All right. So hey, I'm gonna end it there. Next, Lord's will next show we continue. I had more stuff, but I wasn't able to get to it because we sidebar. Life Lasts next show we'll finish up. And remember, after this we're gonna get into the Arabs. So after we're done with this segment, we will be dealing with the Arabs. All right, Officer Abaddon.
Hey, Israel, let's give a hand to the Most High for that class. Amazing class. All praise to the Lord. Israel, don't forget to subscribe to Our Hidden History on YouTube, all right? Hit the notifications button so you know when we go live. Subscribe to us also on our other Philly pages. We got IUIC Philadelphia and IUIC Philadelphia in the classroom. So you can tune into the camp videos from the captain and officers of IUIC Philly. Donate to Our Hidden History on PayPal. You can donate to iuic.philadelphia@israelunite.org. In the comment section, put OHH so we can purchase more books to bring out to you. Donate to the Booster Club if you want to help the prophets travel and preach this gospel throughout the four corners of the earth. You can donate on PayPal to iuic.fundraising@israelunite.org. Subscribe to IUIC TV to get exclusive content from the leadership of IUIC, and tune in next to Deacon Malafire on Raven and Wolves. Got the last one? Yes. So, we're seeking your assistance to enhance our national broadcast. Kindly spare a minute to provide feedback by answering 5 brief questions. So if you got the time, go ahead and pull out your phone right now, point it at the screen, and hit that QR code, all right? That's it, officer.
Hey, I'd like to give a shout out to IT. Yeah, I actually did a good job today. So all praise. I'd like to give a shout out to IT. Also, the breakfast was amazing, so I want to thank the sisters that made that wonderful breakfast. All praise to the Most High.
You gotta give a shout out to maintenance for the work we're about to give them.
To who?
To maintenance.
Oh, okay.
No, don't follow these.
hey, Shalom Israel. Lord's will we see you next show. All right.
Shalom. It's like Christ bless.